Hi, everybody. I want to take just a few minutes to show you how to play One Night Werewolf inside the virtual tabletop software that's integrated here into the virtual coffee shop for playing tabletop games and tabletop RPG. I've already done a video on how to use the coffee shop software itself, so if you're looking for that information, please see the link down below. This video also isn't going to be a video on the actual rules of One Night Werewolf, but actually how to manipulate all of the pieces and get the game set up and play inside the tabletop software itself. So here I am inside the virtual coffee shop. And as you can see, of course, all of the positions where you can play, all the different tables have their numbers. And CS13, a lot of people can play at. So that might be a good one to play One Night Werewolf in. So once you step onto the red carpet, everybody on the red carpet will have their video calls, both audio and camera, microphone and camera connected, so you can all coordinate and play around this table right here. And then as always, press X to interact with the game board object. The game board object, or the board game box, is that white box right there. So I'm going to press X, and then that connects us to our virtual tabletop software. As you can see up there at the top where my camera is, that's where you'll see all of the other players who are connected here. You will need a room code to connect to One Night Werewolf. Everybody at the table will need to enter the same code. So the game master or the game organizer at this table will have a game room code for everyone to enter the room code in here. So I have a room code with One Night Werewolf already set up in it. And then I'm going to click join and enter. And now here, everyone will be able to see this virtual gaming tabletop space for a game of One Night Werewolf. I'm going to zoom in on the table here for the purposes of this video. So here I am at the virtual tabletop for One Night Werewolf. It can accommodate up to 10 players, and I have all of that built out here as well. So when you come in, you'll need to take a seat at one of the different player positions. So for instance, if I'm going to take player number 1, I can write in here my name so that everybody knows who I am here at the table. There aren't nearly as many pieces to One Night Werewolf as something like Hero Quest, which I showed you previously, so this is a much easier kind of game to get ready for. Manipulating objects on the game board is very easy. You can see that we already have all the different cards necessary to play. Villager, 3 of those up here. Drunk, Insomniac, Minion, Seer, Doppelganger, Robber, Troublemaker, Hunter, Tanner, and 2 different Mason cards. And then also a token for each one of the different cards as well. And of course, as well, 2 different werewolves down here at the bottom. Manipulating the cards is very easy. Just click with your mouse, hold it down, and then drag where you want the card to go and release. That's how you move all different physical objects around here in the gaming space. If you just click on an object, it flips it over. So for instance, all the cards can be flipped over so you have the werewolf back. Click to just flip them back. There is no back on the tokens, however, so if you click on them, they don't flip over. But you can move the tokens however you like. If you're already familiar with the werewolf game, then you can manipulate the cards and the tokens to set up your werewolf deck and play the game in this digital space just as you would in physical space. So when you're setting up your deck for One Night Werewolf, I've got a place up here for cards in play and a place for cards not in play down here. If you have played One Night Werewolf before, you know that you get to assemble your deck for what type of roles you would like everyone to have in each game. And so let's say, just as an example here, you can be playing with the drunk, the minion, a villager, the seer, and the robber, let's say, and a werewolf. So if those are the cards that you want in your deck, as an example, then what you need to do is you need to drop all of them into the cards in play, and this is going to stack them up. Notice how there's a number over here now. That's 5. That's 6 different cards. That tells you that these cards are now a stack. And if I just grab the image here, like the seer, I could just drag the seer card off the top. But if I want to move all of those cards as a stack, just click and hold on the number 6, and then you can drag that whole stack of cards to anywhere you want on the game board. Once you've selected the cards that you want to have, then you can put all of the cards that are not in play down here. And then you can also create a stack of all of the tokens that are not in play as well. So we've got 2 villagers. So 2 villagers are not in play. Whoop. That villager is. The hunter is not in play, and the insomniac is not. So now I have the tokens and the cards that are not in play, and then I have my tokens and my cards that are in play. Note that if I need to look at things spread out, like maybe I didn't get the right token or something, since I'm sitting at player 1, this area down here that says click cards to flip, drag cards to move, cards placed here are only visible to you, is my hand. So anything that I put down here, which is going to be very important for me to put my card that determines my role down here. But for instance, if I needed to look through these tokens, I could drag all 10 of these tokens by grabbing the 10 right there, drop them down into my hand, and then I could look through them all and go, oh, I actually needed this one, and put it back up here, and then grab 9 and the number 9 and put the stack back over there. But now that you've got these cards in play, all you have to do is click on the number 6 and then tell it to flip the stack. So anytime you've got something stacked like that, click flip the stack after clicking on the number, and then you'll see that all of the cards are turned over. I accidentally clicked on that one and it flipped the whole stack over. If I click again, very important, say shuffle stack. So shuffle stack, shuffle stack. You can shuffle them as many times as you want, although one's probably sufficient for randomization. So there we go. So now I've got all of those cards in play. Now I need to hand them out to everyone. And so what I'm going to do is this card space in front of everyone's name is a place to put their card. So all the cards are dealt, and now everyone is secretly assigned their roles. But now the key is that you need to look at your cards secretly so you know your role without the other players seeing. Well, how do you do that? Well, it's very easy. Drag your card. Don't click it. Don't turn it over. You don't want to expose it to everybody, but you want to click and drag your card all the way down to your hand. Okay, so in this case, I can see at the bottom here that I am the robber. Once you know what your role is, drag it out of your hand and back to the tabletop. I've got it set so that it will automatically flip over so you can't accidentally show anybody when you're taking it out of your hand. So drag it back up and put your card back up in front of you. That's important because other players will need to manipulate the cards in front of everyone during the game while everybody has their eyes closed. Some people, according to their role, may need to wake up, open their eyes, and then manipulate the cards. Everybody has to put their card back in front of them during play. Now you have everyone close their eyes and you go through the roles. You can do this in 2 different ways. The classic way is to have someone actually call out the entire script. So if they've got the game in front of them, they've got the game manual, they know which ones are, which cards are in play, which roles are in play, and then they go through and they call out those through their microphone while everybody is playing at the table. Or you can use the app. I know a lot of people use the app right now. That's how I use it when I play. So I've got the app downloaded on my phone or an iPad or whatever you've got here. If one of the players has that, then they know how to use the app and can indicate in the app what all the different roles are. And then everybody closes their eyes, and then you just play with the volume up into your microphone, and then everybody can hear the instructions that's being called out for the app. That way, nobody has to worry about getting the script right. So if everybody's got their eyes closed, somebody who is running the game has the app up to their microphone, that plays to all of the players at the table. And that works really well. This game works best if all of the players at the table have both video and audio. I do have this set up so that you can play it on audio only, but this works best if all of the players have both camera and microphone on. That way, you know, when you're watching for facial cues, right, as the game goes on, it's kind of an unfair advantage if one player doesn't have a camera, right, or doesn't have the camera on. So I think it's best if everyone plays with the camera on. If you do want to play it without the cameras and are going audio only, how do you know if someone's awake? Because, for instance, when the werewolves wake up, they need to be able to see each other. I think I just put one werewolf in this deck. This is just an example anyway. But for instance, if the werewolves wake up, they need to be able to see each other. Or if the masons wake up, they need to be able to see each other. That's what this token is right here, in case you are just playing audio only. So that if you wake up, so if the app calls for you to wake up, if you're playing with your camera on, then those people need to look and they'll see each other on camera, and it works really well. But if some people don't have cameras on, then they'll need to click this eye icon that turns the icon green. So wake up. So if it's like a werewolves wake up, if I was the werewolf, then I would need to look up, click that, and then I would be able to see if somebody else has also clicked their werewolf, and then I would know who the other werewolf is, or the other mason in that regard. And then when it says to close your eyes, make sure you turn that off before the next person opens their eyes and executes their task. Of course, if you're supposed to swap with somebody, actually, you're supposed to have 3 cards out here in the center. So let me put these cards out here in the center. These cards are now not rotated the right way, but if you need to rotate a card on the table, then just right-click on it. Hold down the right-click button, and then you can manipulate the card into the 90-degree direction. So if you ever need to turn a card in any particular direction, just hold down the right mouse button, and then you can turn a card. So if you're someone who is playing and you need to look at a card when you are up and awake, then you can just click it, And then it will tell you, then click it back. Okay, the drunk was there. And then close your eyes again. Follow it just like you're playing a One Night Werewolf. Or if you need to exchange two people's cards in the evening, then you can exchange the cards just like that. It works extremely well. Then you wake up, you start the timer. The app will already do that if you're using the app for like 5 minutes worth of conversations. You try to figure out who the werewolf is or who you're going to kill and all of that, and do that just like you would at a physical table. But how do you do the voting? Well, that's what these are for. These gray discs right here, I have these created as voting chips. So everybody at the beginning of the game needs to take their chips and put it into their hand. So I've got a stack of chips, a stack of 10 chips right beside everybody's play space. So if I want to, so if I'm playing in the first player right here, then I take these and I drop them down in my hand. So I can see I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 right there. Now, when I'm voting for who to kill, I just drag off. Let's say I really want to, I think it's player number 3 here, the player in the 3rd position, who's the werewolf, and I want to point at them. Well, then I just take take number 3 and I put it on the table. And if everybody who is voting takes their chip and puts it on the table, the chip turns face down automatically. So you just need to drag it out, and then everybody will have a chip on the table. And then once everybody has their chip on the table, then everybody can just click it and see who has the most votes, and so who was killed, which player was killed. And hopefully it's the werewolf if you're playing the villagers, or hopefully it's a villager if you're playing the werewolf, and you resolve the game. So these chips are for voting, because it's very difficult to point at players if you're just playing by video call, right? So the solution to that is to have a chip, and your vote is disguised. Once everybody has put their chip out, then click the button, and then and see who was voted off by everybody. And if you're using the app will call out, 30 seconds or whatever, and then you need to have your chip out there so that when the timer ends, everybody should have their voting chip out there. Then everybody clicks and see who was voted off. The tokens are, of course, just are for what they are in the game, which is for people to put markers by and to remember what different kinds of roles were actually out there. Or if they think, okay, now I think it's like this. I think this person's this. I think this person's that. Those have an unofficial role in the game for helping you strategize and determine what you think the situation is during the game. So they're there for you. So then the great thing is that you can take your voting chip back if you want to play again. Just put it back in your hand, and then you can drag all of these out and put them back on the table, and then reassemble a new deck for the next game, just like you would do as a physical table. It works very well, and I'm excited about being able to play some games of One Night Werewolf in the coffee shop. If you'd like to be a part of that, I've got a link down below where you can sign up to know when the coffee shop is live and when we're holding events and things like that. I would love to have you.